What is happening, people? Welcome back to the channel. Today is day 23, I believe, and we have sold 24 items, and I've got a little bit of notes. The wife's written some notes for me. So on Vinted we have sold £160, on eBay 657, and that totals £817 across 24 items for day 22. So let's get straight into it and show you what's sold. I'll go straight into something that I've learned recently, which is toast pajamas. I talk about the chore stuff, I talk about the dresses, I talk about the utility of it, the denim, all that sort of stuff. But I've never spoken about toast pajamas, and that's because I don't really want to talk about it because I like picking them up for cheap and selling them for a lot. This would have cost us £13.59 all in. These are floral, it's a set, and it's sold for £50 on Vinted, no fees. Next up we have this Alpha Industries liner. It's actually not a liner, it's like in a coat thing, but people wear these as a style piece. This was really popular last year, not so much this year from what I've seen, but these are styled like liners, and you button them into bigger jackets and stuff, which you probably could do for this, but the person who bought this isn't going to be doing that. They are going to be wearing this as a jacket, and this is sold for £45, and again I paid like £8 for this on Vinted. Also, just want to say this was Alpha Industries. I'm not sure if I mentioned it. They do a lot of like M65 MA1 jackets, like the military style, and they all fly out. So next up we have this super dry jacket. I don't normally pick up super dry, but there are a very few nuancy things that sell. This is a super dry wax jacket, and it's sold for £35 on Vinted. We paid £5, so £8-ish, £8.39 I think it is, all in on this one. And we got 35 on Vinted, no fees. I just want to say I apologise if you can hear any music. There was a guy right opposite, like literally outside the unit there. He's banging out some music while he's doing his work. Unfortunately, where you're at the units and stuff like that, it gets quite busy. So if you can hear some music, it's his. But he is playing the Streets, which is fantastic. I think, what, early 2000s? Streets has got to be early 2000s, right? Yeah, it's banging, some banging tunes. Next up, we have a M jumper. It is cashmere. I don't know if it's 100% cashmere or a cashmere blend. I think it was 100% cashmere. We had it priced at 60. But it took me about 2 weeks to list it because it needed a debobble and stuff like that. Condition, like when you get these sorts of things, they tend to be a bit ropey on condition because they've been brushed and cleaned, and it just makes all the fabric a bit meh. So we accepted an offer of £40 on this, but again, I didn't pay more than £13.59. To turn that into 40, I'm happy, very happy. Next up, it's another brand that we have spoken loads about recently, which is Greasers. It is linen, so again, time of the year, etc. This would have been a £10 pickup from my contact, you all know by now, and we sold this for £40. Probably could have got closer to 50 in the summer, but again, it's the winter, baby, so let's just get it gone. So next up we have this Emporio Armani gilet. It's padded, I'm not sure if it's down or anything like that, but it's just a gilet. It was a terrible pickup. I paid, I think, £6 or £7 from a charity shop. This is sold for 15. We've had it for ages. I wouldn't buy it again. Next up, it's another item we've had for a pretty long time, but we've managed to acquire some good value for it. It is a Burghouse. It is a micro, they call it, what do they call it? Micro something jacket. Micro light maybe. And it is sold for $39.99. Again, old label, low number. It means we've had it for a decent amount of time, but it's finally sold for £40. And I don't think I can complain about that, to be honest. So this is a really cool jumper. It's a Joni. I think it's something, does it say I hate Mondays? It says like I hate Mondays or I love Mondays, whichever one it is. You'll see it in the picture somewhere here. It is sold for $35.99. It's brand new with tags, and I paid £7 on Vinted, which means it works out to be about £10.39, I believe, after all of it. And it's sold for $35.99. It's a really cool jumper. Joni have some really cool bits and pieces, like the jumpers that sell well. They have like slogan jumpers. And if you can find the right ones of those, I think what I've talked about it when I sold an Abbey Road one, which didn't sell for as much as it used to. They used to have the yellow one with taxi, that used to do quite well. So definitely look at Joni jumpers, look for the slogans, find the ones that sell, and then try and source them on Vinted. Next up, we have this And Other Stories. It's not a brand that I pick up very often. It has to be super cheap. It's sold for £22.50. I typically avoid this now. We have got another one that we've had to list because it got sent by accident through Vinted and I didn't get to it quick enough, so I ended up buying it by accident. But it's not going to make me any money realistically. So again, not a brand that I would normally pick up, and it's sold for £22.50. Next up, we have some toast jeans, and do you know how quickly these sold? I got a message today, this morning, on Vinted asking me if I could press is everything okay. So these have been pictured, listed, drafted, listed, and sold within the 48 hours that you get on Vinted to say everything's okay. That's how fast these are sold. These are really nice. Toast jeans, we know the score, sold for £50. And we'll remove the Toast Speedy jeans and go to Adidas leggings. I paid £3 a piece for these. We bought loads of them. I want to say somewhere in the region of like 30 pieces. I was going to dump them all on Vinted and not put them on eBay, but I put them on both. A decent amount of them actually have sold on eBay as well, but the majority are sold on Vinted. A lot of it was brand new with tags. This is one of the ones I picked up that wasn't brand new with tags, sold for £13 on eBay. In hindsight, I probably should just listed them all on Vinted and let them all sell there. Next up, we have this Man City track jacket. And yes, there are Man City fans out there apparently. This is sold for £20. I've had it for ages, and I should never buy Man City stuff because it doesn't sell because they don't have any fans. I picked up this Bowden dress for £10 all in on Vinted, and it's sold for £30. One of the best things. One of the best things about having the reseller group is having a women's clothing call. And listening to Kaylee talk about all of the things I didn't know about women's clothing. 12 months ago, I wasn't. The best thing about having the best thing about having a women's clothing call and having Kaylee teach us is that over the last 12 months, I've massively improved my women's clothing knowledge. Next up, you still might be able to hear a bit of noise because of the plane or something, but next up we have some Nike Reacts. These are black and gold. They're Nike React Shocks. They've sold for £27, they're UK 7. Again, this would have been from Contact Lady, paid £5. Next up we have these Adidas ROM trainers. These were £3 at a car boot. I bought, I want to say like 16 pairs at £3 a piece. These literally sold within an hour of listing them for £37.50. I'm not clued up with my trainers. But yeah, this style of Adidas, like the originals, the Hamburgs and stuff like that, all sell really, really well. Next up we have these toe trousers. They are wide leg, they're cropped. They've sold for £45. These are quite nice. They're like an oatmeal colour. They look like a Hessian bag in terms of that sort of fabric. So they're not like wide leg linens or wool or anything like that. They're like a weird sort of Hessian bag style feel. These are sold for £45 on eBay. Next up we have a Nike ACG Gore-Tex jacket. Normally these would sell for a lot more, but this one is absolutely fucked. It's shredded. All the waterproof zips don't work. The tape seams are falling apart. We chucked it up as a dog walking coat, which is what we tend to do with a lot of the damaged items. And this is sold for £15 on Vinted. Next up, I got this, which is the bag's a bit knackered. It was a return, so it's a size small. It's brand new with tags, rab like base layer. We picked this up at a car boot for £5. It's sold before for 30. Got returned for doesn't fit, and this time it's sold for 35. Next up we have a childish hoodie. You know I love a childish hoodie. This one's taken a little bit of time to sell. The theme park ones do not sell as well. I believe this is a large. It's taken a little bit of time to sell, but it has sold for £44, which is a fantastic price because this generally isn't the most sought after one. It's one of the most common ones and ones that has so much like quantity. Yeah, it has so much quantity online. You can buy this pretty much anywhere and everywhere for less than £15. In a multitude of sizes. Obviously the bigger sizes always do better with these sorts of things, but yeah, £44. Next up we have this Percival jacket. I think Tasha got this from a charity shop for about £15 or £20. It was quite expensive, but it is sold for £50. It's a brand new with tags. Percival's a fantastic brand if you're looking for the big flannel overshirts, jackets, utility chore, that sort of thing. Always does really well. This is a really nice one, £50. Next up we have a sea salt sweater vest. This is a grey one, sold for £35. This plain merly, like it's like a mill like knit. It's got loads of like little different colours in it and stuff. These ones usually sell for anywhere between 30 and 35 depending on size, but you can get the super multicoloured ones that can go upwards of 40. But yeah, this one sold really, really quickly and on Vinted, and it got loads of interest as well yesterday. I think it had a couple hundred views and like nearly 50 odd likes. So yeah, super fast sell, and obviously on Vinted, this sort of stuff sells really, really well. Next up, we have this big ass leather jacket. It is only from River Island. We paid £5 and it sold for 23. Again, like I said before, leather stuff does relatively well in general, but some brands and some styles don't do as well. This was probably a lesser of the both. And next up we have a Sahara jacket. This would normally go for a lot more, but it does have some marks and stuff on it. This is sold for £24, but it has sold on Vinted. Again, we wouldn't have paid more than £10 all in for this, so we're still going to make £14 profit, and it's sold really, really fast. Then last but not least, we have some Fox racing trousers. These are like motocross trousers. They've got like a waterproof like texture to them. They're like a little bit like heavy duty, and they have sold for £44. I picked up a bundle of Fox Racing stuff for a tenner. The jacket fell apart when we tried to clean it because it was very heavily marked, but there were some other bits that we've sold as well, which is nice. But this is all for £44. Sorry, just to say, with the Fox Racing stuff, they do some really good stuff. Do not confuse it with Muddy Fox, which is not a good brand, but Fox Racing generally has some really good stuff. Like the motocross stuff does really well, the clothing, the boots, all of the protective gear, that sort of thing, helmets, they all do really well. So definitely be on the lookout for those. So that's what 24 items valued at £817 looks like for us today. I genuinely am super happy at the moment. I did a little bit of mathematics actually, and I was like, oh, I need to get to £1,000 a day. But so my average sale price right now is around £35. So if you times that by 20, which is currently what we're roughly selling on average, that only comes up to £600. So I've worked out that if I want to do £1,000 days on a more average and consistent basis, I need to be listing 28 items at my current average sale price. So we've still got a long way to go there to get to that £1,000 day every day, which is a really interesting concept. So yeah, really interested in that. But I'm super happy with where we are right now. I think it's going relatively well. Sorry for the speed on this one. Again, there's a guy across the road just sawing wood and stuff, so it's been super loud. We've been trying to get them done in like spits and spurts, so I've not been able to deliver as much information today, but I hope that you understand that, and we'll see you again tomorrow.